A standard class in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is different from academy to academy. And I've actually gone to many different Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms and different locations. I've done drop-ins. I've been a member for a little bit here or there. So I've got not experience in every gym, but a good handful. And there are a few common patterns that emerge. I would say in general, 10 minutes before class begins, people are coming into the building. They are, if they have to sign in or like scan a little QR code, they do that. Some gyms have that. Some gyms you just walk in. And generally people are taking off their shoes, putting on their uniform, which is called a gi. They might put on their rash guard. And they spend that little bit of time before class going through whatever stretches they want to go through on their own. Maybe they'll talk amongst other people and socialize. Maybe they'll drink some water. Then when class starts, most classes are going to have some kind of a formal warm-up. Now, a better class and a better instructor is going to have some type of a warm-up that involves a movement drill, which is related to the thing you're going to be doing today. So if the next portion of the class, which is knowledge being conveyed, it's the instruction part. If it's about like takedowns or something, your warm-up is going to have something related to takedowns, although not as intense of a movement. You'll do something that will kind of get the blood flowing, maybe stretch out a little bit. Usually takes 5 or 10 minutes or so. Then after you warm up, you'll kind of all group up. Usually it'll be around the instructor who will have somebody who will help them demonstrate, and they'll go through a sequence of moves. It might be a really small thing that you're doing, such as you grab onto somebody, you pull them this way, and you grab onto them here. And that's all we're going to do for now. And they show it a couple more times. Do it like this way, and they might talk a little bit. They might ask some questions, and everybody breaks off. And usually you're going to find a partner, and with that partner, you're going to try to recreate what the instructor was showing. And they might walk around and they might ask questions. And then you come back in and they might add on another piece to that puzzle. Like, okay, you pull them down, you bring them here, and the next thing we do is we pick up the leg and we turn this way, we take them down. Then you have another piece of the puzzle. And then you break off and you do it again and you practice. Then you do that for, the majority of class, let's say 30 to 45 minutes or so. Good instructors are going to mix in different levels of drilling and different levels of resistance throughout this. So you might have a portion of this where instead of just going through and like choreographing the motion, like, okay, you put your hand here, you pull them down, up, and bring them down while the other person's letting you. You might say, for example, all right, start in the position where you've got their leg, ready, set, go. And one person's going to try to get their leg back and the other person's going to try to take them down. And then you just reset when either thing happens. That would be like a positional drill. It's very common. That happens a lot. And the last thing that would happen would be just general sparring. So this is the portion of class where you're allowed to do whatever you want in regards to jiu-jitsu. So obviously you're not trying to punch them or poke them in the eye or put your finger in their mouth or do anything like that. And the reason why you can do ready, set, go and just go as hard as you want is because you're not actually punching each other, right? You don't really hurt somebody by full strength, like squeezing. I mean, it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's not the same as like ready, set, go, and you're just punching each other as hard as you can. That's why it's a little safer for new people to do it. If you can think of it, like grappling wise, you can push them, you can pull them, you can squeeze them, you can move them this way or that way. They can do the same to you. Ready, set, go until somebody gives up. And that's just sparring. Now, if you're not comfortable with that, or if you're like very, very new to class, oftentimes instructors will say, hey, why don't you sit and just watch for a little bit till you feel comfortable. On my first day of class, I just wanted to roll. I've wrestled with my little brother before, so it didn't like phase me or anything like that. And I was like, let's just go for it. Obviously I didn't know what I was doing, but it was fun. And so usually that's where class will end. And different academies have different drills and procedures as far as like formalities. Like that's like the learning and jiu-jitsu class part of it. Then there's like the ceremony thing that's on top of it. So some gyms want to do like really weird things where like you bow onto the mat, which isn't that weird, but they'll have like a picture of like this Gracie this guy who like invented jiu-jitsu a little bit, and you bow to the actual picture itself. And then you bow to everybody else and you shake everybody else's hands. Some gyms, which are a lot more formal, it's like, all right, everybody, they're going to run it like a high school wrestling practice. Let's get in, ready, set, go. And they play music and we break off and it's a lot more casual and formal. Usually at the end of class, there's something to like signify that it's over. Oftentimes you bow to everybody and you shake people's hands. but the level of formality in regards to like the tradition stuff, the ceremony stuff, it varies from gym to gym. And in America, I'd say it's moving much more towards a casual vibe than like that super like formal ritual type environment. But it really depends on the actual school itself. Although that's a general overview of how classes go.